Greetings, Wandering Beekeeper here. We are out in the Kuiper Belt. I'm going to show you why. We were last on Saturn's moon, Titan, which is a very interesting place. Amazing landscape, lakes of rocket fuel, redstone ore, really important place from a resource standpoint, as well as just being cool to look at. And then we moved on. Miranda, the only landable moon of Uranus, is a waste of time. There is cobalt and iron there, but there is cobalt and iron in places that are easier to get to and easier to survive in. Miranda just does not have the resources to justify any sort of ongoing presence. So we moved on. And I went to Neptune, and I went to Triton. Triton was more of a waste of time than Miranda. Triton has no ore. There is no ore generation. There is nothing to mine for. Once you get past the dry ice on the surface, it is Triton stone all the way down to bedrock. I did 3 core samples with a 9x9 quarry each time. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We moved on. So we went to Pluto. Pluto is kind of like Miranda. There's just not enough there to justify the effort it's going to take to survive. There is the start of a base, one section of corridor sealed, there's not even a suit maintenance shop built. And we moved on, because there just was no reason. Now the Kuiper Belt, that's something else again. This doesn't really do justice to it. Let's go back out here, because what we're looking at is out of the picture here. It's out. You know, this map only goes to Saturn. The Kuiper Belt is the furthest outpost of humanity. Haumea is something of a myth. There's something out there we can tell due to the gravitational disturbances, but I may not have kept up with astronomical news well enough, but last I heard we didn't have any photos. We certainly haven't got a landing or any sort of analysis. I did pop out to Haumea briefly. Let's get back to the Kuiper Belt. Let's, as a matter of fact, get back to the Kuiper Belt, because it's much more interesting to look at that. Oh, that was a meteor impact over there. That was a meteor impact on dot 1. We need to go see what just happened. Dot 1 is the first habitable bit we've had. Oh, okay, that was a zombie going poof. Phew, I thought we'd had a meteor impact. So this is dot 1. It was the first bit of solid rock, or so I thought, that I found. in the Kuiper Belt. The asteroid we were just on is ice all the way through. Most of the Kuiper Belt is ice. Here's a real fun one over here. I found a hollow asteroid, so I decided, well, let's take a little ice off the outside and make an entrance, and discovered that there wasn't any rock. There is a hollow asteroid here with dirt and glowstone and all the stuff you would expect. No trees, no flowers because it's open to hard vac. There's a single flower in there. But yeah, I put a couple of... I had to stick rock on it in order to... because you can't put arc lamps on ice. And it turns out there's no rock there. Dot 1, you may notice, has an awful lot of tin block encrusting it. That's because the ice melted off. Once the ice was melted off, there wasn't as much rock there as I had originally thought. It was a lot less. Quite a bit less. Let's go inside Dot 1 and have a look and see. Oops. A lot of debris out here. Easy to run into something unintentionally. This does get us back to proper zero gravity like at the space station. So here we are inside Dot 1. There just wasn't much inside. Really wasn't. It was mostly ice. So I did put in a quartz window. The quartz glass is sealable. And we have tree of air sealers over here, and decorative wall here is hiding the sanitary facilities for those who have some sense of body modesty or whatever taboos. There's sleeping spaces for 4, and there is an Emmy chest with some food. Now this food came from Barnard's star. It is actually easier to make the sublight jump to Barnard's star than to travel down to the asteroid belt or all the way down the gravity well to the overworld for food. Bringing food up out of the gravity well takes a lot of fuel and a lot of effort. Launching the sublight from the Kuiper Belt makes good sense from a resource standpoint. It takes less fuel, less effort to launch the sublight from out here. So this is where the starships go. Out at the very edge of the human presence in the expansion through the Sol system. And we are launching from a ball of ice. Let us over here, because I did find a hollow rock. I found a rock that was not entirely hollow, but it was mostly full of ice. Yeah, I found this lovely outer shell of rock, and I'm like, yay, a rock asteroid to tunnel into. And I opened it up, and it was ice inside. I've been working on melting the ice off of its tiny companion here, who's just a a core. This is an asteroid core with the asteroid itself being made entirely of ice. Get a little more melt, a little more sublimation started here. The ice is not particularly fond of the arc lamp. This is an arc lamp. It's going to produce a lot of heat. And that is how we get the ice off the asteroid and out of the asteroid to be able to move in. Let's go see what's inside this, because it was quite a surprise. I did not expect it. I thought I'd found rock. I found some rock, just less than I originally expected. Oops. There we go. Through the airlock. The airlocks are vertical. It's kind of a thing. And yeah, there's this free-floating big chunk here where we've got a collision cage set up here. Suit maintenance being, of course, the first thing you see when you come out of the airlock. We can go stand on the energy pad and charge up our suit without having to take it off. There's a little technological innovation there. I was there all along. I just wasn't installing these things. I've been retrofitting them. There's still an energy module if you want to charge your suit parts the old-fashioned way, and an air compressor. Mod table, the usual stuff. This is very much a construction shack. This is not a permanent inhabitation. It's barely even started here. So we have a commons. There's no chip in the chest yet. The food has not been brought yet. If you want to eat, you got to go over to dot 1. Some additional sleeping quarters. All the way down in the bottom of it, underneath this huge piece of stone that hangs in the air in the exact way that bricks do not, there is a reactor. There has been yellorium brought out at great expense all the way from Earth, because there is no yellorium in space. If you want energy out here, it's solar, or in some cases fossil. There are hydrocarbon compounds out here. Well, not necessarily fossil, but those hydrocarbon compounds were never dinosaurs. But there are moons with great fountains of oil to represent the hydrocarbons. And there is Titan with its lakes of rocket fuel, and there's, well, we're out in space. Solar is way more powerful out here than it is on a planet. There's no atmosphere to block the radiation, and we even have a couple of advantages. A couple of pieces of technology that we can use that you can't use planet-side, like a solar wind collector. But energy, well, we don't have reactors. Everybody thinks, well, we'll just stick a reactor on it. Where are you going to get the fuel? Where's your fuel coming from? This is a serious consideration. Where is your energy going to come from? Out here? You bring it with you. We are way too far from the sun. There it is. For solar to be really all that effective. You want effective solar, you've got to go in toward the belt. You've got actually effective solar. Out here, you have what you brought with you, and that's about the extent of it. Next stop, Barnard's Star. We are ready to launch the sublight. The next video will be the last in the series. I'll detail more about that when we get there. But for those of you who have stuck with me this far in this journey, my great appreciation, and safe journeys, space fans, wherever you may be.